So how has Hanhaa evolved over the last 7 months? 2020 was always going to be a challenging year. We're a global company with customers across the world. And given how much we service out of the UK, the exit from the European Union was already something that was quite high on our mind. And we decided to reconfigure ourselves to deal with that. On top of that, layer on COVID, which has been both a challenge, a revelation, and I think has presented us with a bunch of new opportunities, both internally in how we work and engage together as a team, also how we service our customers, how we engage with our suppliers, but more importantly, how our users are now engaging with their customers. So we've broadly seen an increase across all key markets in how Parcel is engaged. New opportunities have now arisen. COVID has given some of our customers a driving impetus to increase the visibility at a time when logistics is even more important than ever before. And thankfully, we're on the right end of all of those things. The challenge we now have over the next 7 months is exactly how we deal with the end of Brexit, as it were, or the end of the withdrawal agreement or the transition period, and how we handle a COVID situation that's definitely going to last into 2021 and possibly into 2022. So we have a number of changes coming, which we hope to share soon, but that's kind of how Hanhaa has changed. I mean, we were always changing. It was never the case that we were waiting for this or that to happen to change. We're 5 years old now, and in that time, we've gone through a whole number of changes, both in capability, in team, and in potential. And we hope for that to continue. But if you break down the individual problems that these companies face, they're actually in themselves quite small, yet they need to be solved. And they need to be solved in sequence, at scale, and at a value point that makes the whole thing work. And Parcel really enables that to happen. So in our case, we take care of the hardware. We take care of the delivery of the hardware to the shipping point. We take care of the return from the receiving point back to us. We take care of all the certification, compliance, customs, the aviation certificates. And whilst each of these things is a relatively small thing, for a company that doesn't do this day in, day out, this becomes the barrier to adoption. And what we've done is by taking all that pain away and by offering a single number and a single point and a single stack and ownership of that all within ourselves, so we can deliver a service and a response that is consistent globally, then that's been the way we've removed the barriers. That's the way we've allowed customers to adopt, to try something without huge investment on their side in terms of people, in terms of resources, especially when a lot of these companies are actually, whilst they may have one brand name, once you peel that away, are actually lots of mini companies, mini fiefdoms, mini regions, for a whole range of historical reasons that may be to do with acquisitions, that may be to do with legal, culture, language. It's very hard to find a company which is truly one company, centrally managed. Most of our customers, I would really call them more of a federal system, where you have a federal center, but really the individual components have a significant amount of latitude to do what they need to do in their market to deliver the numbers they need to deliver. And whilst the central authority can issue edicts and can issue guidance, and it can only really do so many things at a global level to deploy. So when Parcel Life comes along, what makes it so powerful for us is that each of the mini fiefdoms of the state can adopt our solution without, let's say, going back to the federal system and trying to get the bigger machine to adopt it. So it means that the rate of adoption is fast, the speed of adoption is fast, and what we call our flash to bang, in other words, the time it takes for you to sign on to the time it takes for you to capture revenue because of this sign on, that is quite short. That's Parcel Life. The volume and scale of what we're shipping now has grown to such a degree that understanding what's happening with your system is really even more important, because small incremental improvements deliver massive results. The challenge we all have is the quality of information you're getting in order to make those decisions is really variable. Why is it variable? Because of the number of different players involved in the movement of shipping across the world. So without a consistent source of data, without understanding that the sensor in America is the same calibrated sensor in Asia, therefore you can rely on these two numbers to be the same. Understanding that you have a direct relationship with your shipping and the data is coming back to you directly without it being corrupted by third-party processes or third-party equipment or software or issues, all that kind of stuff, integrations. Because we deliver that, because you can now see that from us, you can now start driving improvements that allow you to deliver change, that allow you to improve your service, and where the numbers now become, as a function of what you're shipping, meaningful. So the reason why it's more pertinent than ever to understand what's happening with supply chain is because as the scale grows, if you don't understand why things are being late, putting in remedial action against that will always be ineffective or expensive. You need to understand the why before you answer the how. Parcel Live helps you deliver the why. So obviously we are now deep in motion with Gen 2, which has improvements on every dimension of our Parcel Live platform, not only at the server side but also on the device side. The big innovations are also coming with our XG product line around the cellular deployment. Now, for the first time, we'll be able to deploy radio side capability within our clients. So allowing our devices to connect not just to the public network, but also to our own assets in different parts of the world. And over the months to come, we'll be able to share this more, but Hanhaa has really positioned itself to take advantage of the new 5G world that's coming ahead of us. We've also spent last year really working around blockchain, and over the months to come, there'll be a better deployment and presentation of that capability within our range of products. So the real goal, among the many goals, but the goal we have for 2021 is to really open up Parcel Live to third-party integration, to allow there to be more ways to connect, to allow there to be more ways of extracting the data, for there to be more ways to measure the data that we're seeing, and for us to work in more territories across more networks. And to do all of that whilst trying to keep the price and improve the value proposition of what we're doing. We're now 5 years into our journey. We've learned a hell of a lot. Everything that we have, we built from the ground up ourselves. Nothing existed before we came along and created it. And we're going to take all those learnings, those millions of lines of code, those many, now tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of journeys that we've now done. All those lessons are now coming together into version 2 of Hanhaa. So look forward to Hanhaa 2.0.